Hello everyone. Today we will talk about democracy and elections. The concept of democracy, in which citizens have a say in decision-making and the governance of their society, has ancient roots. The exact origins of democracy are debated among historians, and it's important to note that different societies had varying degrees of democratic practices. However, one of the earliest and most well-known examples of democracy can be found in ancient Athens, Greece. In the 5th century BCE, Athens practiced a form of direct democracy in which male citizens had the opportunity to participate in decision-making through various institutions, including the assembly and courts. One of the most famous elements of Athenian democracy was the use of the ostracism process, where citizens could vote to banish a prominent individual from the city for a period of time. It's important to recognize that ancient Athenian democracy was limited in scope compared to modern democratic ideals, as it excluded a significant portion of the population from participation. Additionally, the concept of democracy as we understand it today has evolved significantly over the centuries. As for records of the first democratic elections, the Athenian system didn't involve elections in the way we think of them today. Instead of electing representatives, Athenian citizens participated directly in decision-making by voting on various issues and policies. The processes and details of Athenian democracy are primarily documented in historical writings of the time, such as those by the historians Herodotus, Thucydides, and Aristotle. Their writings provide insights into the workings of the Athenian democratic system. It's important to note that while Athens is a prominent example, there were other ancient societies that had forms of governance with democratic elements to varying degrees. These include the Roman Republic, various city-states in ancient India, and some indigenous societies in the Americas. The concept of elections has been practiced in various forms throughout history, but pinpointing the exact first election is challenging due to the limited historical records from ancient times. Elections, especially in early societies, might not have been recorded in the same detailed and standardized way that we have today. That being said, one of the earliest known examples of an election can be found in ancient Mesopotamia. The city of Ebla, which existed around 2500 BCE in what is now modern-day Syria, has yielded clay tablets that suggest a form of election for local officials. These tablets include lists of names and numbers, which some historians interpret as a method of tallying votes. Similarly, ancient India practiced a form of election known as Samiti and Sabha, where leaders were chosen through assemblies of various groups. The exact details of these early elections are not well documented, but they provide additional examples of early democratic processes. The aforementioned Athenian democracy also involved a form of voting on various issues, policies, and appointments, although it did not resemble modern elections for representatives. It's important to note that these early examples of elections were often limited to specific groups of people, such as landowners or aristocrats, and were not necessarily representative of the broader population. Additionally, the records from these times are fragmentary, and much of the information has been lost to history. In summary, while there are some early examples of elections in ancient civilizations, the concept of elections and the records of these events are not as well preserved or detailed as the modern electoral systems we are familiar with today. Thanks for your time, and we'll catch up again soon to explore a different interesting part of history, science, nature, and everything in between. Have a great week.